Well, the short answer is I was bad at math and science. But you know, I don't know. I really think, like one of the questioners earlier said, I think I'm haunted by all of this. And what happened really was that I grew up surrounded by all these characters. I mean, all these people in all my books are real people. And I grew up surrounded by all of them, mostly women, and hearing their stories just over and over. I mean, my mom has like, I don't know, like 12 sisters, and each one of them, you know, her aunts all have said, there's so many women in our family, and we didn't have the internet and stuff, so all we did was talk about like our bad husbands and all that back then. So I kept hearing all these stories and seeing all these really remarkable people, especially at the time that I was growing up. There were these people who really had 3 different lives. Like the people who'd been born and raised in the ghetto, and that was one life, and then the life under the Shah was completely different. That was another life, and then life out here was completely different again. They had 3 entirely different lives, and succeeded just by sheer resilience and resourcefulness, which I think is something very Iranian. And I kept thinking that all these women are going to live and die in complete obscurity. That what a shame that these stories, each one of them had like an epic life, that what a shame that all this suffering and all the courage and whatever it was that went into that life, that nobody really outside the 3 people who were related to them was going to find out about it. You know, there was no grand stage to project all this on. And so that's what made me remember all these stories. And I think initially, I mean, that's the thing that still haunts me, all these voices from back there.
Well, you know, they say that for most of the cultures in the world, the storytelling is what perpetuates the history. So you're a great storyteller.
Thank you.
Gina, June, I love what I've heard, and Bahar, you've just done such a beautiful job.
Oh, thanks.
I haven't read the book yet. I'll get it tonight. But what's really compelling for me, just from the readings and you talking about the book, is the disability of Yassi, and the fact that she can't hear, her deafness. What evoked this really touched me in a way, and I'm just running it by you. Does it have to do with the notion of invisibility and not being heard? Her disability?
To the large extent, yes. You know, I was thinking of what's a great loss, and a great physical loss. And I think, and I've heard from, you know, people talk about, and people who've lost both their sight and their hearing, that the loss of hearing is the hardest one, because it completely isolates the person. And especially you know, when it happens at a young age. And this girl, Yas, has a parallel. The character, the ghost brother that appeared for a minute in there, is her mother's brother. Her mother had a brother who died, but he doesn't know that he's dead. And so he keeps coming back because there's something that happened to him that he feels needs to be told. That there's a truth that the family is kind of swept under the rug. And he keeps coming back and haunting the family for that reason. And Yas, as she loses her hearing, she realizes that she's turning more and more into that same ghost. Denying, that the family denying her reality turns her into this ghost. And I just thought that loss of hearing and not being able to connect, you know, for a child not to be able to hear her mother's voice. And then after a while, you even lose the memory of that sound. You know, that really does turn a person, unless there's other ways of communicating, really turns a person into a ghost anyway, even if they're still there. So that's what that was. Thank you.
I have a question, and I guess mine is going to be the last one, so we can conclude. You know, I'm a Middle Eastern Jew, so I'm always interested in how the different cultures in the Arab world or in Iran interact and mingle. And so I'm curious about in Los Angeles, most of my Iranian friends who are of Muslim background are fairly secular. And most of my Iranian Jewish friends seem to be fairly observant. At least their families seem to get together every Friday, and they do all the holidays. I'm wondering, in your experience, honestly, how much interaction is there on a personal level, since you write these personal stories, between Iranians of Jewish background and Muslim background? I mean, how often do relationships occur?
Not enough. Not enough, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that as Jews we have so many relatives, and we have so many parties, and seriously, that there's very little. We've actually become very insular in many ways. I'm talking about sort of the average, you know, there's always all kinds of exceptions. But we're so busy with each other, I think, that we forget that there's a whole world out there, and part of that world is the Iranian Muslim community, and part of it is like Americans and the whole rest of the universe. So you know, that may be something that will change. I don't think it's intentional. I just think that it's become sort of our comfort zone has been looking at each other mostly and socializing with each other and having friends from among the same community, which, you know, it becomes very limiting. You learn and you grow by connecting with people other than yourself. So definitely not enough. But that's why having the Levantine Cultural Center, here's the plug for the evening, is such a good thing.
You know what, this is sort of a joke, but one of our board members says, from now on, what I want you to do is encourage people to marry each other. Let's forget about being Muslims and Christians and Jews, and let's just have lots of intermarriage.
I'm going to get shot if I do that.
Yeah, well, he could say that. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you.